tea time, and definitely my favourite part of the day. Yours as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep, so what have we got on the menu for tea?
So today we're going to have a plant-based enchiladas, and this is actually a family recipe. So I've got family who live in Mexico and they came over and taught us how to make this in the UK. They make it with meat, so I've just made it a plant-based version. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy.
Sounds great, yeah. So this is definitely not like an anglicised version of it. This is bona fide Mexican
Well, this
cuisine.
is how my Mexican family make it, so yeah, hopefully it's as close to the real sort of thing. Although I don't know if enchiladas would be considered as like Tex-Mex, but I feel like because these guys live in Mexico, it must be a traditional Mexican sort of meal.
Looking forward to it. Well, yeah, so it's going to be all about kind of big flavours, isn't it? Spices.
Absolutely.
Loads of fresh veg. Got the avocados there, peppers, chillies, tomatoes, black beans.
Yeah.
Brilliant ingredient.
We love black beans too.
Love black beans.
And then we've got kidney beans as well, and we'll use this our first and only meat replacement of the day. And this is Meatless Farm mince, which is another Yorkshire-based product, which we're both quite excited about.
So we found out we do plant-based food very well in Yorkshire, don't we, as well as everything else.
Yeah, so that's good. These guys are based in Leeds, and this is a gluten-free product as well, so you could actually make this recipe gluten-free if you used gluten-free wraps, which is quite nice to know. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy.
And that's just going to go in as a little bit of extra kind of
texture, really. Yeah, you won't taste the mince too much because a lot of these vegetables are going to be the main sort of star of the show. But I do quite like to add that just for a bit of texture to the enchiladas.
Brilliant. Right, shall we crack on? What do you need me to do?
Cool. So if you could chop or dice an onion for me, and then I will do 3 cloves of garlic.
Right, yeah, we've just ended up with this, haven't we?
Yeah.
So a little hack here, fill that with compost, some basil seeds or herb seeds, coriander, whatever you want. You'll have your own plants. Yeah, just a few little holes in the bottom for drainage.
So it's as easy as that.
Easy as that, that's how easy it is, and that
really
can just sit on the windowsill over there.
Yeah.
And within a week or two, you'll have a bountiful harvest.
How quick?
Yeah, really quick,
That's amazing.
Yeah, so don't let anything go to waste.
No, that's brilliant. So we've got our garlic and onion very much sort of fried now. We've added some salt and pepper to that as well. So we're going to pop some of the plant-based mince into this.
And that smell of when garlic goes into hot olive oil.
Such a good smell.
No better smell in the world, is there?
No.
So I mean, there's almost whole aisles now dedicated to kind of plant-based food, isn't there, in the supermarket?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't eaten meat since I was 4, and the difference in the last, well, that's 21 years, is crazy. It's just so much easier now than it was.
So you're far better catered for.
Yeah.
What about when you go out then, Chloe? Because you love eating out as well, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So what's it like in restaurants now?
It's amazing. It's you know, it would be a surprise if you went into a restaurant and they didn't have a vegan option. I think that, you know, there's just so many options now for plant-based or even vegetarian food, and you don't have to be vegan or plant-based to pick those options because they're also really delicious as well.
Well, I completely agree with you, and then as well the other thing is that meat's getting more and more expensive, so it's forcing places to have to get a little bit better probably at cooking, you know, vegetable-based dishes and using seasonal produce and all the sort of things that we've been talking about, really, isn't it? So, yeah.
We're going to pop a little bit of hot water on that actually. I think the kettle.
Yeah.
Just so because it's quite frozen at the moment, so we just want to make sure that melts down a bit. Just a little.
I'll let you say when.
There you go.
Enough?
Yeah. See how it separates a bit more.
So yeah, when you're cooking as well, just building those layers of flavour is important, isn't it? So every time we put anything in, give it a little bit of salt and pepper.
Definitely, and at this point we're going to add some more smoked paprika, your favourite.
My favourite.
And I do actually put quite a lot into this recipe.
Now if you've never cooked with this stuff, it's unbelievable. It's just so fragrant, it's got a little touch of spice, hasn't it? But it's the smokiness. You just drop that in anything, little stews, chili con carne, pasta.
Yeah.
Brilliant ingredients. So if you haven't got that in your store cupboard, get it on the shelf.
For sure. And then we're going to pop a little bit some chili flakes in here as well. How much do you like spice?
I'll have it as spicy as you make it.
Okay. I'm going to put quite a fair amount. And then we're going to put some pepper. There we go. And then some parsley as well. As much as you think.
So that's just adding a little bit of colour as well there, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we're going to pop some kidney beans in here. And then we're going to pop that sweetcorn in as well. So this is going to be our filling for the enchiladas, but we are going to do one more little thing and add some black beans. So first we're going to crush some of these black beans. So we've got a full sort of tin of black beans here, and half of them we're going to keep whole like this, and then the other half we're going to crush.
Going to crush them, yeah?
Yeah, just to add lots of different textures. And the crushed ones kind of give a bit of a refried bean texture without all the salty refried bean, you know, ness.
Yeah.
You get our refried bean.
Refried beanness, that's a new word.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, do you like crushing those with maybe
Yeah,
a fork?
how do you normally do it?
Fork?
With a fork?
Yeah, that would be great. Smell the paprika and everything, can't you?
Yeah, so every time you add something in there, it takes on a new dimension, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to turn that off now, just purely because we're going to be popping it in the oven. So we don't really need to put it much more than it already is.
Yeah,
and I don't want it to start sticking to the pan or anything. So that's kind of ready to go in the centre of the enchiladas.
Looking good.
So we're going to use the fresh tomatoes. We're probably going to use about 3/4 of those.
Yeah.
Another onion, which you've already prepared for me, just here. You can use that. 3 cloves of garlic, which I've also
Already done.
prepared. And then we're going to use some tomato puree, salt, pepper, paprika, and a whole red chilli. And we're also going to add those peppers in as well, because I think pepper gives like a really nice sweet flavour to things.
So this is all just going in the blender?
Yes.
And what's this going to be, Chloe? It's like a little
So it's
extra
a sauce that goes on top of the enchiladas. So when we put it in the oven, we're going to
drizzle it over.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do that much for now and blend it, and then we're going to add the rest.
So there's a little bit more work gone into this, hasn't there? But
Yeah.
that's fine. It's an evening meal, isn't it? We've got a little bit more time to.
Yeah, I
prepare.
always would say that this one is quite a, you kind of got to put your heart and soul into this one, because it is a really special meal. So it's not something you just whip up if you're, you know, in a rush. It's definitely like a special meal that you're going to make because you want to have something really nice.
Yeah. This would be a brilliant meal for a family.
Definitely.
Yeah, kids would love this, wouldn't they? They love
Yes, yeah.
anything they can eat with their fingers like that.
Yeah, it's really good. So, we're going to get our wraps.
find, Chloe, even on the days when we do eat meat, with cooking things like this, you can reduce the amount of meat that you put in, and even have, substitute half of it for lentils, or even some of this mince that you put in today.
Absolutely, you could just make it as a sort of like a bean chilli, or you can put whatever you want, I guess, in an enchilada. This is just kind of what I personally really like, the flavours. Yeah? Is it hot?
Yeah.
I just think mixed with kind of like the sauce that goes on top, the cheese that we're going to put on, obviously it's vegan cheese, plant-based, and then guacamole, and then we're going to put some vegan creme fraiche on it, which it kind of, I suppose it's a similar sort of thing to sour cream. We haven't got vegan sour cream yet, but mixed with all that, the flavour of it in the end is really good.
I'll tell you what, that's got a little bit of heat that gets the back of your throat.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That was good. I mean, that's what I like. My family in Mexico eat whole chilies for breakfast, so yeah, they've taught me well when it comes to the spice. And then today we're going to use Epic Mature, which is a Violife vegan cheese. This is my favourite vegan cheese that you can get from a supermarket. Must admit, it took a bit of getting used to. My nickname when I was a vegetarian was Chloe Cheese, so you can imagine how much I liked
So cheese was a hard thing to give up for you?
Cheese was the hardest part, but I can honestly say I have got used to vegan cheese. It's not the same as dairy cheese, but it definitely does the job.
Well, I've never tried it, so here goes.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to put too much on it, because if you've not tried it before, I wouldn't go in too heavy with it, something that you've not tried. So we're just going to like sprinkle.
Well, there's very little, if anything, that I don't like, Chloe, so I'd be amazed if I
think, do you know what, when it's all kind of melted and it's got the other things with it, I'm sure you won't have a problem with it. I think try a little bit. As it is, you might think it tastes a bit weird.
It's better when it's cooked.
Well, it's better when it's with something else, I would say. Because it's definitely got a sort of interesting flavour to it, hasn't it?
It's not, I don't think it's too bad, actually.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think you undersold it, Chloe.
Well, only because I've had bad reactions from some people that I've given it to. But
no,
yeah,
I'll be honest,
like
that's
I say, I'm completely used to it now. I love it in a sandwich with pickle, or on a pizza or whatever. So, yeah, and you'll see when this comes out the oven, it melts really nicely as well. So we're going to pop that in the oven. Let me just double check how much I would usually put it in the oven for. Minutes. Is that okay with you guys?
30 minutes, good, yeah.
Yeah, and then we're going to make some guacamole while that's in the oven.
Brilliant, perfect timing.
So that's what it looks like before.
Let's go.
It. There we go. For the guac, I mean, you can make it however you like to make your guacamole, I guess, but I would usually pop a little bit of some chili flakes in the guacamole, olive oil, salt and pepper, and maybe a little tiny drop of lemon juice as well.
So a little bit of lemon,
Yeah, not too much lemon, otherwise I think it can be a bit overpowering. We want it to be like a creamy guac rather than a sort of zesty.
Yeah. Are we cutting these into little chunks, or?
Yeah, we're going to completely mash the avocado up with a fork.
Right.
That's okay?
So I'll take care of the avocados. Another little hack for you, I don't know if you know this, Chloe, but you can dry that out and grate it like nutmeg.
Can you?
Yeah, it's fantastic. So if you take the stone, don't waste it, just put it in the oven on a low heat, dry it out, a couple of days later you can grate it.
That's really cool.
So if we'd have thought ahead, we could have actually had a bit of grated
on top,
avocado stone on the top of your...
yeah, because it's actually, I really like to do that with nutmeg on my lasagna.
After removing it from the avocado, rinse and dehydrate at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. Take it out. Remove the outer skin and place it on the counter. Press on the dried seed with the back of a thick knife blade. The pit will split in two. Dice the pit halves and then put into a high-powered blender. And pulse until it is turned into a powder. Add them to your smoothies, oatmeal, and baking.
There's so many ways in which, like, the bits of fruit, of particular vegetables that we end up throwing away, and you can reuse them. Like, you know, when you peel a potato, you just bake the skins or the peelings with a little bit of salt and pepper. End up like crispy. So there's little excuse to throw anything away, really.
Well, speaking of earlier on, we were talking about my clients who are vegan. I work with an amazing seasonal restaurant in London called Supernature. They're in Hackney, and they literally reuse everything possible. Last time I went, she actually told me that the cocktails we were drinking, they'd reuse some of the pumpkin skin, I like to think, or the outside of a pumpkin to make like a pumpkin sugar.
Right.
In the cocktails, and I was just fascinated by that. It's amazing how you can really reuse every part of a vegetable.
Of a vegetable,
Yeah,
well, I think it just should be the norm, shouldn't it? We should aim to be, not to be wasting anything.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of the food that we've eaten today is quite carb heavy. So we've had the sourdough muffin at breakfast, and then we've had the pasta at lunch, and now we're having tortilla wraps for our dinner. So I probably wouldn't usually eat all three of these meals in one day. I just wanted to use them to highlight three really good, nice, tasty plant-based meals. Obviously it's completely up to anyone what they want to have, but I usually would probably have a salad with just vegetables in between that, rather than completely having carbs in every single meal. I don't know about you, but do you like a lot of carbs?
I quite like carbs, but I suppose if you're talking about making it sort of as nutritionally balanced as possible, maybe having one or two of these meals a day.
Well, I'm definitely not for like cutting carbs or anything out of the diet. Carbs is probably my favourite thing in the world, but I think for me, I would be very full by the end of the day if I had all three of these things every day, or meals like this every day. So but hopefully they kind of showcase a few really nice, filling, delicious plant-based.
Absolutely, well, everything we've had so far has been fantastic, Chloe. Perfect. But even then, it's just like using the whole grain pasta and all these things. So even if you're going to have the carbs, this stuff's so much better for you, isn't it? And keeps you fuller for longer. It releases your blood sugar a little bit more slowly. Energy a little bit more slowly.
And I suppose with the one we're just making now, you could use wholemeal wraps if you wanted to. I personally think the white wraps taste really nice with it, but if you wanted to make it slightly more healthy, you could use
a whole grain wrap. Absolutely.
The way I would have my guac.
That looks good to me. So slightly chunky. I like it slightly chunky.
Yeah, some chunks in it too.
A little bit of texture in there.
Yes. As you can see, it doesn't melt the same as normal cheese at all, and it does look slightly different. But obviously you're going to get that with a vegan alternative, but it tastes really good. And then, like we talked about before, we kind of leave a bit of the sides of the wrap exposed, so it gets like a nice crunchiness to it.
So it's crystal clear nicely. So just talk us through what this is in a nutshell.
So we've got vegan enchiladas. They're kind of filled with a bean and sort of a little bit of vegan mince filling with lots of seasonings like paprika and chilli, and then on the top we've got a fresh homemade tomatoey chili pepper sauce, and then vegan cheese on top. And we're going to serve this with guacamole, creme fraiche, vegan creme fraiche, which is kind of my sour cream replacement, because usually if this wasn't vegan we would be having it with sour cream. And then some jalapeños.
Well, it looks amazing. So let's dig in.
Yeah.
Well, that looks amazing, Chloe.
Right, let's see what you think.
You happy with that?
It's going to be quite warm, but it's going to be quite hot, so...
Try and get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, you've got the filling with a little bit of heat coming into the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Yep, the creme fraiche is lovely, real nice,
It's
kind
really
of fresh
nice, like sort of
texture.
Yeah, the cool texture of it is quite nice with the heat, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, balances really well. Got the guacamole, a little bit of texture. It's brilliant.
Good. I'm really glad you like
Looks
it.
great, tastes great. I would definitely make that.
Perfect. Please, that's the goal.
You're gonna have some?
Yeah, I will.
I'm definitely not eating that thinking, I wish I was eating meat. It feels satiating. Nailed it, eh?
Go. Yeah.
Good work.